Isaiah 53. Who has believed what he has heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hid their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. And with his wounds we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people? And they made his grave with a wicked and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him. He has put him to grief. When his soul makes an offering for guilt, he shall see his offspring. He shall prolong his days. The will of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Out of the anguish of his soul, he shall see and be satisfied. By his knowledge shall the righteous one, my servant, make many to be accounted righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide a spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors. We'll turn now to Revelation chapter 5, right near the end of your Bibles. Then I saw in the right hand of him who was seated on the throne a scroll written within and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a mighty angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?" And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look into it. And I began to weep loudly, because no one was found worthy to open the scroll or to look into it. And one of the elders said to me, "Weep no more. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has conquered, so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals." And between the throne and the 4 living creatures and among the elders I saw a lamb standing, as though it had been slain, with 7 horns and with 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. And he went and took the scroll from the right hand of him who was sitting on the throne. And when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each holding a harp and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song, saying, "Worthy are you to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain, and by your blood you ransomed people for God, from every tribe and language and people and nation. And you have made them a kingdom and priests to our God, and they shall reign on the earth. And then I looked, and I heard around the throne and the living creatures and the elders the voice of many angels, numbering myriads of myriads and thousands, saying with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." And I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea and all that is in them, saying, "To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever." And the 4 living creatures said, "Amen." And the elders fell down and worshipped.
Thanks for reading that for us, Kaz. Keep your Bibles open there. And for all of you guys who take notes and fill in the blanks, the disappointing thing is that I've changed the outline from that's in the newsletter. And so sorry for you guys who fill in those blanks so well. But if you take some good notes anyway, then you can come show me later, and I'm sure we can work something out all the same. But I was having a look at Revelation 5, and the question that came to me while I was thinking about what you read in this chapter is, when was the last time you wanted to sing? Andrew Versmondonk, he went all the way to Germany recently because he wanted to sing. My kids, they burst out in song sometimes, just sing about whatever they're doing in the moment. Or maybe your team, the last time you wanted to sing was when your team won the grand final and you want to join in the song there. Or maybe even you've wanted to sing a love song before. I know I can't sing in tune at all, but at times it doesn't stop me. But what makes you want to sing? In the drama of life that we live through, what makes us sing reveals our hearts. And the fact is, our life is a drama. And I'm sure I don't need to really tell you that life is a drama. It's a drama of sadness and celebration. There's a drama of hope and despair. There's the drama of joy and grief, of dreams and disappointment. And this morning I want us to witness here one of the most dramatic scenes in the entire Bible, I think. And the reason we'll do this together is because your life will be fuller, your life will have more purpose, there will be more meaning to your life, and the drama of your life will have hope because of this dramatic scene here. And so may this dramatic scene make you want to join in and to sing. Because it's a scene that invites you. It invites you to own the deepest sadness that's here. And it's a scene that invites you to celebrate the one thing that's truly worth celebration, the celebration of your entire life. After all, your heart is revealed by what makes you sad and by what causes you to celebrate and to burst out in song. And so let's go through this dramatic scene in Revelation 5. Ben showed us last week that John is helping us to look into the very throne room of God, where we see God on the throne at the center of the universe. And then in this chapter, chapter 5, verse 1, we see that God is holding a scroll that's sealed with 7 seals. And it tells us that in verse 1. And this scroll is God's redemptive plan for the universe. It's the culmination of all things. This scroll is the hope of everything that God has made. It's the hope of the 7 churches in chapters 2 to 3 that are suffering persecution and despair. And one of the angels asks the question, verse 2, see it there, they say, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?" Who's worthy to carry the hope of the ages? Who's able to carry the hope of every person who's ever faced the brokenness of the fall? Who's ever faced the discouragement of life? Who's ever faced the brokenness of authority or the broken homes or broken hearts? Who's worthy to carry the hope of everyone who's ever faced the ravages of sin and the despair of suffering, the consequences of my own failings? Who's worthy to carry the hope of the person who's suffering pain for years on end? Who's worthy to carry the hope of everyone who's ever shed tears over the death of a loved one? Where is hope to be found in this world of hurt? Who really holds our hope? Because we all hope in something in the end. You're always grabbing a hold of something and saying, maybe this will fill me, maybe this will satisfy me, maybe this will heal me. And the search here, it goes throughout the universe in verse 3. And so Gandhi is unsuccessful, Mother Teresa fails, Calvin can't, and even Luke Rowley can't do it. The search comes up empty. And in this moment here, no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth or around the earth, it says, there seems no one is worthy. And I want us to ask that question, what if there is no one worthy? Without God's plan coming about, then what's the point of all of this? What's the point of all those people in the 7 churches who are enduring so much? They're suffering. Antipas was martyred, their brother and friend. Others are in prison. Their homes have been taken from them. They're persecuted, destitute, looked down on. And for us, if there's nobody worthy, then why bother going on? Pink Floyd is right back in the 70s when he said, all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. And that's a sad reality if there's no one worthy. No new body for the Christian who suffers with MS or debilitating disease. No joy of reunion with loved ones lost. No real justice for the victim of a rapist, no absolute peace and security, no heaven, no paradise. And so no wonder John weeps loudly, it says in verse 4, because he gets how important this is. If there's no one worthy to hold the scroll, if there's no one worthy to break its seals, if there's not one worthy to bring all that God has promised, then the earth is damned and there is no hope. The hope of the universe is sitting in this moment, and John begins to weep. What if there's no one worthy? What if there really is no hope? What if we're stuck in our sin? What if suffering has the last say? What if no purpose exists beyond this? It should cause us to weep with John here. Last Thursday morning, I was at the bed of Helen, and her family are around her, and she's breathing raggedly through this tube, and her family are crying, and in that moment where her death is impending, what hope is there? And if there's no one worthy, if this search turns up empty, then there is no hope. And it's worth being like John and weeping. But then an elder says in verse 5, look what the elder says. Weep no more. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has conquered, so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals. And so there is one worthy. There is one who has conquered. And we know that this one is Jesus Christ. The one promised right at the beginning in Genesis, all the way through to David, and here now the Son of God who took on flesh, the Savior of the world. He alone is worthy. He is the Lion, the one who conquered all things, including sin and death. And when John turns to see this lion, it says that the crowd sort of parts, and through the living creatures and through the 24 hours, he looks for this lion and he sees a slain lamb standing. This lion conquered by being slain like a lamb. He alone is worthy. And in verse 7, he takes the scroll from the right hand of him who is seated on the throne, the only one who is worthy. He who is hope holds the plan of the hope of the universe in his hands. And he alone is worthy to do this. Now why? Why is he alone worthy? And we find out because the living creatures and the elders, their hearts just can't help but burst out in song when they see the Lamb take the scroll. And they say why he's worthy in verse 9 in their song. They say, "Worthy are you to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain. And by your blood you ransomed people for God from every tribe and language and people and nation, and you have made them a kingdom of priests to our God, and they shall reign on the earth." So why is he worthy? Because he was slain. Jesus was willing to leave the glories of eternity, willing to come to earth, willing to take on human flesh, willing to suffer again and again and again. And in one sense, every day of his life was a day of suffering. So the elders sing. They sing, "Jesus, you were willing to face injustice. You were willing to have your body beaten and tortured. You were willing to bear the wrath of God that we deserve for our sin. You were worthy to die so that your people could have hope." He is worthy, and so they sing. And we know this. We know this just recently. Faraz Tahir, the bodyguard during the Bondi stabbing a few months ago up in Sydney, he had his funeral because he rushed to save people when he heard screams and danger that was going on in that Bondi Junction supermarket. And Albanese said because he ran to danger, because he tried to save people, he said he's a national hero. And one of his family members, this is what they said about him, he said he gave his life to protect others, he gave his blood to protect the public. We know that people who give up their lives deserve worthy of honor and respect. And if Faraz Tahir is worthy because he had the desire to go and protect others, then how much more worthy is the Lamb, Jesus Christ, who was slain to save the lives of billions. And not just for a moment, and not just for an extended time here on earth, but for all of eternity. Jesus is worthy. His death ransomed people for God. See, the drama of life isn't ultimately ill health. It's not bad finances. It's not suffering and sickness. It's not broken human relationships. The drama of life is our separation from a relationship with God. We were made for God. Our humanity is found in living in a relationship of love and of worship and of service with God. That's the center of our meaning, of our existence. We were made to live not for our glory, but for His glory. But because we live for our own glory, we've messed it all up. We've rebelled against God and said, "Let me be my own God. Let the things you created and the stuff that I work for and the people that I love, let them be God instead of you." And for that, we've committed treason against our King. We're rebels in jail awaiting our just punishment. We need someone to pay our ransom before we're executed, to bring us back to what we were created for. And so the Lamb came, and by his blood we were ransomed. We were bought back to God by God. Bought back for relationship with him, restored for community with him, adopted as his children. And it says here that he ransoms us to be two things, to be a kingdom of priests to our God. A kingdom of people who find the deepest joy in their heart in their access they have to God. A people who find the deepest celebration of their hearts in the worship that they're now welcome to offer to God. A people who desire to see others to come hear of Jesus. That's what it means to be a kingdom of priests. There are about 8 billion people in the world today, and of those 8 billion people, 3.4 billion have little to no access to Christianity and to this knowledge of who is worthy. No Bible, no church, no teacher, no preacher. 3 billion have no access to Christianity today. If we're a kingdom of priests, this is our role as well. I heard recently that Jesus gave us 2 prayers to pray, only 2 prayers to pray. The first one we know well, it starts with our Father in heaven. And the second prayer that he told us to pray is pray that the Lord of the harvest would send out laborers into the harvest field. Is that your prayer? Do you hear this news of him being worthy and you see that God's great gospel plan should be the center of our prayers and desires? Is that for you? That big global vision that feels overwhelming at times, that God's great gospel plan should be the center desire of this church, that God's great gospel plan should be the center of our conversations and our prayers and our giving. Are you praying that God would raise up trained gospel workers, laborers for the great gospel harvest? Are we intent at BPC? Do we desire to see people sent to train for gospel ministry? Because the Lamb is worthy. Have you even said to God, have you said to God, I'll do whatever you want me to do to help in your great gospel plan, because the Lamb was slain and his blood ransomed me? Have you asked the question if you or someone you know should be challenged to become a trained gospel worker to take the good news of Jesus around the world? But we know it's not only trained gospel workers. Do you have this as your mission in all of your life as we go, whether to work or in home or whatever it is? That we would all desire to let people know of the Lamb who is worthy and whose blood was spilt to ransom us for God. And the second privilege that we haven't fully grasped, and I don't think we ever fully will, is also given at the end of verse 10, that we will reign on earth with him forever and ever and ever. The one who reigns over history, the one who loved you and gave himself for you, will reign with him. And this means that your story is not yet over. There's another chapter, and that chapter to come is one of glory, where there'll be sin no more, sadness no more, suffering no more, death no more. For thousands and thousands and millions of years and more. And so because of that, myriads and myriads of angels, it says in verse 11, thousands upon thousands, more than a full MCG at a grand final when they all shout at the first bounce of the ball, or when half of them are singing based on who their team wins. That almighty shout is going on in verse 12, and they all say together, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." And then in verse 13, the whole universe can't help because their hearts are bursting to join in this overwhelming song. And this is your future self singing to your present self. This is all the universe singing this song. And so hear what you say to yourself and all the universe. In verse 13, you sing, "To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever." Can you imagine the sound of that? I've been singing with a room of 2,000 one song, or hear the shout of thousands of the MCG. It's overwhelming. You feel the tingle down the back of your spine. You feel your heart thump. You feel your eardrums vibrate. And this is what's going through your head as you join in this song and all voices sing together. And you want to sing this song because this song is your glory. This song is your hope. But the big question that we have to ask of this dramatic scene in chapter 5 is why? Why is this here? Why did God give John this glimpse into heaven to hear and to see and to listen and to write it down for all of us? Why is it here that we read? And I think the answer is really simple. The reason this is here for us is because we should start singing this now. We shouldn't wait until eternity to start singing this song with all of the universe, but we should start now. For our hearts to burst open in song. You are worthy to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing. To sing this now, to sing this Monday morning, to sing this Tuesday afternoon, to sing this Thursday evening, to sing this Saturday, to keep singing this song. That's why it's here for us. Don't stop singing. Get yourself ready, get your voice prepared, because your heart will one day burst in song with the entire universe, and you'll want to sing with all of your being. And so now, may our hearts burst in this song. And if our hearts sing this, then it never ends with our voices. It doesn't stop with our lips. So that this week, the way you approach your finances should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And so that this week, the way you use your physical possession should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And the way you invest your time and energy and abilities should all be a song of glory to the Lamb. And if you're a grandparent, the way you use your time this week should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And for you husbands, the way you love and the way you treat your wife and the way you lead your home and the way you disciple your kids should all be a song of glory to the Lamb. And for you wives, the way you respond to your husband and the way you lovingly disciple your kids, it should all be a song of glory to the Lamb. And if you're not married, the choices you make this week with your time should be all a song of glory to the Lamb. And your work this week, whatever you do, whether it's at home or whether it's outside of the home or whether it's still at school where you're studying and doing your work, or whatever you're doing, it should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And for each of you kids, the way you listen and obey your parents, that should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And the way you love and care for your brother and sister should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And the way you care for your friend should be a song of glory to the Lamb. And the way you treat each other here at BPC and the way you care for each other this week and the conversations you have over morning tea should all be a song of glory to the Lamb. The way you trust God in stressful times. The way you patiently endure through suffering should be a song of glory to the Lamb. The way you resist temptation should be a song of glory to the Lamb. The way you love and read His Word and come to Him in prayer should all be a song of glory to the Lamb. And so burst out in song and sing and sing and sing, and don't stop singing what's here in Revelation 5. And if you're here and you haven't placed your hope in the hands of the Lion Lamb, if you haven't trusted in Him for His forgiveness that He offers and repented of living for your own glory, then please do this now. Live for His glory. Start singing with all of us here. This is the only place where true hope can be found. This is in the Lion who was conquered. It's in the Lamb who was slain. And so let's pray that we would sing this song now. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank You for the Lion who was conquered. We thank You for the Lamb who was slain for us, whose blood was spilt to ransom us for You. We pray that we would see the overwhelming worthiness of Jesus Christ, and that we would make our lives a song of glory to You. In Jesus' name we ask and pray. Amen. Let's stand and sing together our next song about the worthiness of Jesus. Is He worthy?